Am I the a-hole for cutting off my dad after he took my brother's side? Hi, I created this account mostly to see icebergs, theories, and photos, but I never thought I'd be writing here. The people involved are me, 16F, my dad, 59M, my two older brothers, 22M, they're twins, by the way, and my twin brother, 16M. As you can imagine, dealing with two sets of twins can be, well, stressful, and I understand my father in that. My mother is away working. She usually comes once a year or month, but I haven't seen her much since I turned 14. Sometimes she sends some stuff to me and my brothers. The relationship with my brothers is, well, complicated. I'm the only woman among all of them, so it was already difficult to connect with them. I only connect a little with my brother Andrew, fake name, 22 years old, since we both like Greek mythology and stuff like that. But here the problem is with my twin brother and my father. You see, these last few days where I live, the weather seems to have a life of its own, sometimes hot, sometimes cold, etc. So, today I woke up to unbearable heat. The air in my bedroom felt thick and heavy, making it almost impossible to feel comfortable in regular clothes. I had planned to go to one of those markets that sell everything to look for some stuffed animals from a series that I like. I spent a little time putting together a simple outfit that would keep me cool while walking around the crowded outdoor stalls. I dressed in a shirt, some sneakers, and decided to wear a skirt to have my legs freer. The skirt was short, almost 4 fingers above my knees, and that was the problem for my father. I walked down the hallway toward the front door, grabbing my bag off the hook, but as soon as I stepped into the living room, my dad stopped me dead in his tracks. He immediately told me that the skirt was not appropriate and that I should change immediately. He knew I was going out. I say this to clarify. I stopped, looking down at my outfit in complete confusion, and asked him what the problem was with this skirt, since it was literally a piece of clothing that my mother sent me from the country where she works. It was a gift from her, meant for warm weather just like this. He didn't say anything to me. He just told me that either I changed into pants or I wouldn't go out. I stood there, feeling the heat rising in my face, trying to understand why he was making such a big deal out of a completely normal skirt. I couldn't even speak when my twin brother joined the conversation. My father told him everything, I guess looking for support, explaining how I was refusing to go upstairs and put on long pants. My twin brother, like the idiot he is, looked me up and down with total disdain and said, "You look like a SL#T in that skirt." The words hit me like a physical slap. The sheer disrespect coming from my own twin, right in front of our parent, made something snap inside me. I got angry about that, and out of rage, I took off a shoe and hit him with it. I expected my father to step in, to reprimand my brother for calling his sister such a disgusting word, or at least to tell him that he had crossed a line. But it got worse because my dad agreed with him. "Yes," he said, "if your brother thinks like that, what do you think the others will think?" I stared at my dad in complete betrayal. Before I could even attempt to defend myself, he called my two older brothers into the room to weigh in on what I was wearing. Instead of taking my side or telling everyone to calm down, they also supported him. They stood around in a circle, looking at me like I had done something shameful, casually agreeing that the skirt was inappropriate and that I was being rebellious for no reason. Feeling completely cornered, humiliated, and outnumbered by every single man in my household, I ended up locking myself in my room. I sat on the edge of my bed, held the skirt in my hands, and looked at it for hours, trying to figure out what was so terrible about it. I couldn't find a single thing wrong with it. I just sat there in silence until I simply gave up on my plans to go out altogether, listening to the muffled sounds of them moving around the house outside my door. That was practically 2 weeks ago. Since that day, I don't speak to them unless it's important. I pass them in the hallway without a word. I eat my meals quietly in my room, and I ignore their attempts to act like everything is normal. My mom texted me today, asking, why do I give my dad and brothers the silent treatment, and that my dad feels bad about it. I didn't send a response, so I would appreciate it if you could give me some advice so I can answer my mom and explain all of this to her. I consulted with some friends. While some friends, both men and women, told me that my dad went too far by not defending me from my brother's comment, 2 friends told me that I was exaggerating because of my brother's comment and that, instead of complaining, I should take it as advice. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. First of all, thanks to the people who left their comments and to the little person who sent me a private message. I honestly don't know how everything spiraled this badly. I thought the phone call with my mom would clear things up, but it turned into something I never imagined. To summarize what happened, my mom was furious after she realized my dad had only told her the part where I questioned him about changing my clothes. He completely left out everything else. She asked me to send her a picture of the skirt and then asked me to put the outfit back on so she could see exactly what I had been wearing. I did both because I wanted her to judge it for herself instead of relying on someone else's version of events. Before we could even finish talking, my dad came home much earlier than I expected. He walked into my room, already angry. I barely had time to react before he started shouting. Everything happened so quickly that I couldn't even process what he was saying. Then he grabbed my clothes. At first I thought he was only going to take the skirt, but he began ripping apart anything he considered inappropriate. Skirts, shorts, dresses, strapless tops, pajamas, even clothes that had nothing to do with the original argument. I begged him to stop, but he ignored me completely. It felt unreal watching pieces of my wardrobe end up torn across my bedroom floor while I stood there crying. The noise brought my brothers upstairs. For a second I thought someone would finally step in. Instead, they just stood there. I pleaded with them to help me, to tell Dad to stop, but nobody moved. That hurt almost as much as watching my clothes being destroyed, because it showed me they were willing to let it happen. Then my mom heard everything. She was still on the phone the entire time, and suddenly I heard her yelling through the speaker. The room went completely silent. Dad's expression changed immediately from anger to shock, and my brothers looked just as stunned when they realized she'd heard everything. Mom told me not to stay there another minute. She said to call someone I trusted, go somewhere safe for the night, and that she would book the first flight home the next morning. So now I'm writing this from my best friend's couch, wearing one of his t-shirts and a pair of his sweatpants, because I don't even have pajamas left. His mom already knows what happened and told me I can stay here for as long as I need. She made me some tea, checked that I'd eaten, and reminded me that I don't have to face any of this alone. My friend even handed me a few of his stuffed animals because mine are still back at the house, which was honestly a really kind gesture. My dad and my brothers haven't stopped calling or texting me, but I don't have the energy to answer any of them tonight. I'm going to turn my phone off so I can finally get some sleep without hearing it buzz every few minutes. Tomorrow my mom will probably come for me. I have no idea what happens after that, but right now I'm exhausted and just hoping everything goes well. Update. Good afternoon, day or night. I'm a lot calmer now, so I finally feel ready to give an update. I'm about to eat in a little while, and I figured this was a good time to sit down and write everything out. Before anything else, thank you to everyone who commented, and especially to the 2 people who reached out to me privately. Reading your messages helped more than I expected. To summarize what happened after my first post, my mom called me almost immediately. She was furious when she found out what had happened. She asked me to send her photos of the clothes my dad had destroyed and also wanted pictures of me wearing the outfit that started the argument. For those who saw my original post before I deleted it, I ended up staying at my friend's house after my dad completely lost his temper and ripped up my clothes. Thankfully, my phone never disconnected during everything. My mom heard the entire incident over the call and even recorded it, which turned out to be important later. A day later, my mom called my friend's mom and asked if she could take me to meet my dad for breakfast at a small cafe. Honestly, I was nervous. After everything that happened, I wasn't sure what version of my dad I was going to see. One thing I forgot to mention before is that he's never acted like this toward me or my brothers. I'd seen him angry with other people, but never with us. When I arrived, he already looked exhausted. His eyes were swollen, like he hadn't slept at all. He apologized for everything. Not only for allowing my brothers to call me a bitch, but also for tearing up my clothes. I asked him why he had reacted that way in the first place because he never actually explained what was so wrong with the skirt. After a long silence, he admitted he believed that if his words and my brother's comments hurt me badly enough, I'd stop wearing clothes like that altogether. I honestly didn't know what to say. I told him the clothes weren't what hurt the most. What stayed with me was hearing my own family insult me and watching him stand there without defending me. That was when he started crying. He said he was scared because I was growing up, that he handled it terribly, and that he was afraid of losing me. Whether that's the whole truth or not, I honestly don't know. The conversation ended without any real resolution, and I'm still staying at my friend's house for now. None of my brothers have contacted me yet. My mom sent me a message before leaving for work saying she'd already spoken to all of them and made it clear that what happened was unacceptable. On a happier note, my friend surprised me with another plush for my collection, a Shadow the Hedgehog one, and that genuinely made me smile after everything. So that's where things stand. I'm still with my friend, while my dad is at home with my brothers. I can't shake the feeling that there's something my dad still isn't telling me. Maybe I'm wrong, but his behavior was so unlike him that it feels like there's more beneath the surface. Even my brothers seem different, like they know something they're not saying. Thank you all again for the kindness and support. My Shadow plushie, and I say goodbye. Update 2. If you're in my time zone, you're probably wondering why I'm posting this so late. The answer is simple. A lot has happened again, and I wanted to update everyone while everything is still fresh. Before I get into it, thank you for all the advice on my last update. Reading your comments has helped me stay grounded, even if everything around me still feels chaotic. This teenager genuinely appreciates all of you. A few things people asked repeatedly. No, I can't move in with my mom. Her job keeps her away most of the year, and she currently rents a room with 2 other women. They have a strict no-children agreement, so living there isn't possible. No, my parents are not divorced. My mom works away from home because that's what has allowed our family to live comfortably all these years. She's always made sure we had everything we needed, even if it meant sacrificing time with us. And no, before all of this, I had never seen my dad behave the way he did. He was usually patient, affectionate, and easy to talk to. That's part of why this has been so confusing. Now for the update. 2 days ago, my older brother Andy texted asking if we could talk. I was nervous, so I suggested a phone call instead of meeting in person. Following someone's advice from the comments, I recorded the conversation, just in case, and my best friend's older sister stayed nearby for support. The conversation started normally. He asked if I was eating, sleeping, and whether I was okay. Eventually, he apologized, admitting he shouldn't have called me those names. When I asked why he did it, he repeated the same explanation Dad gave me, saying they only wanted me to change my clothes. I told him I wanted the real answer, not the rehearsed one. After a long pause, he sighed and said I wouldn't understand. I asked what exactly I wouldn't understand, but he refused to explain. Instead, he asked when I was coming home. I told him I planned to stay at my friend's house until Mom returned. That completely changed his tone. He accused me of hiding, said I was acting childish, and insisted I was overreacting to just one comment. I reminded him that this wasn't about one comment. Dad destroyed my clothes while I cried, and every one of my brothers stood there watching without stopping him. No one checked on me afterward or asked if I was okay. When I mentioned Mom, he became irritated. He said she already had enough stress at work and didn't need me adding to it. According to him, I should have handled everything quietly at home instead of involving her. I told him I hadn't gone looking for drama. Mom asked why I wasn't speaking to anyone, so I answered honestly. After that, he ended the call. I'll admit I cried. No matter how angry I am, he's still my brother. Later that evening, Elijah called. He didn't bother with small talk. He immediately accused me of getting everyone into trouble by running to Mom and then hiding at my friend's house. I told him I left because I no longer felt safe after Dad ripped up my clothes and everyone else watched it happen. He acted like I was making the situation bigger than it was and warned me not to do anything stupid. Before I could ask what he meant, he hung up. Not long after, my twin brother Toby only sent one text. I hope you're happy now. I spent the rest of the night wondering what was happening to my family. Saturday made everything worse. My best friend, his 19-year-old sister, his 10-year-old cousin, and I went to McDonald's. Things were completely normal until my 2 older brothers walked in. The second they spotted me, they came straight over. They demanded to know why I was there and immediately noticed I was wearing one of my friend's shirts. I explained that I'd borrowed it because most of my own clothes had been destroyed and the ones I had left were being washed. Instead of accepting that, Elijah accused me of sleeping with my friend because, according to him, a girl wearing a boy's shirt means he's marked his territory. I honestly felt sick. I told them they were being disgusting, that my friend had simply let me clean clothes, and that we were both 16. Rather than backing down, they became even more convinced they were right. Andy insisted I tell them the truth, and promised they wouldn't tell Dad if I confessed. Elijah then said he didn't understand why I'd been so offended by being called a slut if I was supposedly acting like one. That hurt more than I can explain. Before I could answer, my friend's little cousin started screaming that 2 bad men were yelling at me. Adults nearby immediately noticed. My friend and his sister rushed over, and employees stepped in. My brothers were told to leave, although they still tried to make me go home with them. They left without me. On the drive back, I finally broke down. The little girl quietly handed me one of her fries because she thought it might make me feel better. That tiny gesture honestly meant more than she probably realizes. That night, I finally lost my composure with Mom. I sent her a voice message telling her I needed her now, not in a few days. I told her I didn't understand why nobody would tell me what was really happening, why Dad felt like a stranger, why my brothers suddenly saw me this way, and why everyone kept saying we'd talk later instead of answering me. I also told her I wanted to stay at my friend's house even after she came back because I no longer felt safe at home. I felt guilty almost immediately after sending it because I know how hard she works for us, but I couldn't keep everything bottled up anymore. Right now I'm calmer than I was a few days ago, mostly thanks to my friend's family. His mom has been teaching me pottery and embroidery to keep my mind occupied, and she even found some old paper dolls for me to design clothes for. It's surprisingly relaxing, and I'm incredibly grateful for everything they've done. One last thing. My friend's little cousin has a birthday in 2 months, and I'd love to get her something special after everything she's done for me. If anyone has ideas for a 10-year-old girl's birthday gift, I'd really appreciate them. For now, I say goodbye. I hope you all have a good night, morning, or afternoon, and I'll update you if anything happens. Update 3. Before anything else, thank you for all the concern, advice, and even the gift suggestions for my friend's little cousin. Reading your comments made me feel much less alone during one of the hardest weeks of my life. I'm going to summarize everything as best as I can. The biggest surprise is that my mom never came home. Instead, we spent several hours talking on the phone, and during those conversations I learned things that didn't excuse what happened, but helped me understand how our family ended up where it is. The first thing she told me, which I had briefly mentioned in a comment, was why she spent so many years away. She admitted that part of it wasn't only work. She said she also needed space for herself. I asked what she meant, and she explained that during her pregnancy, everyone believed she was only expecting my twin brother. During the first ultrasound, I wasn't visible, and it wasn't until a later scan that they realized there were actually 2 babies. So, for everyone who wondered whether I was an affair child, the answer is no. I was simply an unexpected surprise. My mom admitted neither she nor my dad felt prepared to raise a daughter. She worried that having a girl would require her to stay home more, while my dad convinced her he understood girls well enough to handle it. Looking back, she realizes she relied on that promise far too much. Asked why she was only telling me this now, she told me something I never expected. One of the women she currently lives with overheard the voice message I had sent after everything happened. After listening to it, she sat my mom down and told her that if she didn't step in now, she risked losing me the same way she had lost her own children after her divorce. That conversation forced my mom to look at everything differently. She apologized for assuming I was always safe at home and admitted she had prioritized creating distance from family life without realizing how much I actually needed her. Hearing that hurt, but it was also the first time I felt she was being completely honest with me. We spent a long time discussing what I wanted instead of what everyone else expected from me. When I told her I wanted to stay with my friend's family for now, she didn't argue. Instead, she called my friend's mom herself, and together they arranged for me to remain there. The conversation with my dad and brothers happened over a video call with mom present. Most of it centered around what happened at the restaurant. My mom did almost all of the talking. She made it clear that my brother's behavior had been unacceptable and that I would continue living with my friend's family until I felt ready to make any other decision. Dad tried to object once, but mom stopped him before he could continue. Life has been much calmer since then. I officially live with my friend, her sister, and their mom. The house has rules, routines, and expectations like any normal home, but I actually feel comfortable here. My friend jokes that we're neighbors now, and we've already started planning Sunday movie nights. I picked a My Hero Academia movie first, and next week we're watching ED, because somehow my friend has never seen it. Mom is sending money so I can replace the clothes Dad destroyed. My friend's older sister offered to take me shopping because she already knows the kind of clothes I like, and honestly I'm looking forward to rebuilding my wardrobe instead of dwelling on what was lost. Before everything settled, Dad came to my friend's house one last time. We spoke on the porch while my friend's mom stayed nearby. He apologized again for failing to protect me, for letting things go so far, and for breaking my trust. He cried, and before leaving he asked if he could hug me. I know some people won't agree with my decision, but I accepted the hug. That doesn't mean everything is fixed. It isn't. It just means I didn't want our last conversation to end with more anger. Andy also apologized again, while my twin brother sent me a picture of my room exactly as I left it with the message, "It'll be waiting whenever you're ready." For now, this is my life. I have my own room at my friend's house, a growing collection of paper dolls I've been designing clothes for, regular calls with my mom, and weekend messages from Dad to check in. My parents agreed that my friend's mom will handle the money for my day-to-day expenses while I'm living here. I truly appreciate everyone who took the time to comment, offer advice, or simply tell me I wasn't alone. It meant more than you probably realize. I'll leave things here. If something serious happens, maybe I'll come back and update, but for now I think this chapter is finally over. A big hug to everyone who commented, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night. Bye. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Daily Tales Update.